Florida State has led the way, but we certainly saw this coming. Clemson has taken the ACC to court over exit fees and the grant of rights. We got Jason Priester here from allclemsontigers.com to help us sort through this. Well, Jason, here we go. It's now Clemson's turn to take on the legalities of getting out of the ACC. I got to say that some of the wording here for Clemson as opposed to Florida State, even though Florida State has taken the initiative and been out in front, Clemson's very blunt with its language that it used in taking this on in regards to this being unconscionable and unenforceable, this grant of rights.
Yeah, we all expected this was coming. It was just a matter of, when they did it, not if they did it. It was the really, if you want to get out, this is the first step you've got to take. So we knew it was coming. Finally here, Clemson finally filed suit yesterday. And, I am no lawyer by any stretch. So I'm not a legal expert by any stretch. Let me get that out of the way first and foremost. But, there are a couple of interesting things in there. They took a little bit different of an approach, if you, as compared to Florida, how the way Florida State attacked it or worded their suit. We've all been under the assumption that, that when a team's media rights belong to the ACC through 2036, Clemson's part of their suit is saying that's not the case, man. You don't own our rights if we're not in the conference. That was a big part of this thing, and another big part of it is, the exit fees, the exorbitant exit fees. And when you look at it, those fees compared to what they are in some of the other conferences, the ACCs are much stiffer. So it's not that they're not on equal footing there. There's probably some teeth in this thing. I think we all thought the Florida State's lawsuit had some merit, and I think Clemson's does too. I don't even think they file if they don't have confidence in it.
We've done a decent job of following this over on the Florida State channel step by step with our guys over there. And one big part in all of this that seems to keep it possibly from ending in court and most likely turns toward a settlement would be that there seems to be a lot of discovery portion of this that the ACC doesn't want to have discovered by the public in regards to its dealings in putting this grant of rights together and its dealings with ESPN.
I bet there is a lot of discovery they don't want out in the public eye. It's come to light just in recent months since Florida State's filed suit that ESPN has an option on the television deal that we didn't, none of us knew about, that they've got to pick up by February of 2025. I think that makes this very interesting, because if you don't think Florida State and Clemson's in the league 2-3 years from now, that this conference is not nearly as valuable to ESPN, not even under this sweetheart deal that they've got. But you start digging into some of the things with Raycom and how those lower tiered rights came about, and with Swafford's son, being a big wig over there. There are probably several things that occurred in these negotiations that ESPN nor the ACC won't brought out in the public eye. It would make for some very good daytime TV if we got that far and these things were televised.
We do the math of this college football playoff deal that was just released here in the last couple of days. And on the surface, it seems, okay, well, the average Big Ten team, SEC team gets $21 million in this new deal that's going to carry us out to 2031. And the ACC and the Big 12 are in the 12 to 13 million range. Okay, that doesn't seem like that big a deal. But you start to multiply that per team. You times that times 14, 8 times 14. So whatever that is, it's like 112 million difference every season. You got a 7-year contract. You're talking about like an $850 million difference between what the SEC and the Big Ten are going to make from this college football playoff deal versus the ACC and the Big 12. It just becomes exorbitant.
Yeah, I don't think the timing of this lawsuit coming, right on the heels of this new playoff deal is a coincidence at all. You got to fully believe Clemson and Florida State are not happy with how this was negotiated and or the end result of the negotiation. You know, the ACC once again being on the short end of the stick when you know, and even not from a money standpoint, they're not going to have much of a voice when it comes to the decision making process. You're just every day you're getting a little bit further left behind, and you got to do something to rectify that. Both these schools, and I would fully expect another 1, 2, 3 schools to follow suit at some point and do the same thing. I've called the ACC a dead man walking for probably 2 years now, and we're finally starting to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, dead man walking, either because this grant of rights can't be held and is breakable, or even if it's not breakable, then you just have 14 schools that are pissed off about you holding them hostage until 2036. So it's gonna implode one way or the other, but most likely there's no way with this kind of rhetoric and this kind of vitriol between two schools at this point, Florida State and Clemson, and them taking the ACC to court. They can't coexist. And also a good point in this, and I would credit the writer, but I don't remember the insider. It was one of the main college football insiders that I saw this on Twitter, basically said that Clemson, they make a really good point in that the ACC sues Florida State without bringing the member schools into it. And from everything that we've ever seen out of these conferences is that they work together, they discuss it with the schools, they get a vote from the schools before they take any big action. But the ACC's out there suing Florida State without mentioning this to its member schools.
Yeah, that's supposed to, that's supposed to go in rules and be voted on and be approved, and ACC just did that on their own. So that's another sticking point here. Another thing about Clemson's lawsuit being in South Carolina, they are not required by law to give the ACC 24 hours notice that they're going to file suit, as Florida State was required to do, which allowed the ACC to get out in front and file their own suit ahead of Florida State's. The ACC was not able to do that here in this case. So I think that gives Clemson a little bit of a leg up too. But yeah, there's just so much dysfunction inside this conference right now. You see Jim Phillips unilaterally deciding to give, I think it was Jim Phillips anyways, or let's just say the league unilaterally deciding to give ESPN, that option there in 2025 to pick up the rest of the television deal through 2036, and the schools not knowing anything about it. They think they're signed on through 2036 and, signed the grant of rights through 2036 under the impression that the TV deal runs through 2036. But there seems to have been a lot of shadiness and underhandedness going on the ESPN side, the ACC side, and this whole thing. And I hope we do get the Discovery, because I'd love to see some of it come out.
Yes, absolutely. I've been saying that for months. Yes, would love to see the Discovery. Oh, that would be phenomenal. Absolutely. Well, Jason, unless you have any other angles on this, I appreciate you stopping by to break things down for us.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Appreciate it.